Hey Leo, this is your July 24 soul story if you've got a sun rising or your moon in the sign. I hope this reading is going to help you as you move through the month. We are opening up your July with the energy of the moon. You have come full circle and you're more prepared now because so much has been revealed and stripped away. And I think you've got the courage now to take something on, perhaps take it on again, or do something that you've always been wanting to do, and you're not going to be put off this time. I think there's a realism, actually, and I think that there's a deeper knowing that's been sort of unlocked within you, that this is the path, this is the direction you're meant to take. And I see you positioning yourself differently. And in part, that is to do with the changing environment, changing circumstances, changing perceptions towards you and you of yourself. You know, Neptune is stationing retrograde in Pisces on the 2nd, and it does strip away so much of the illusions and sort of leaves us with, you know, sometimes the raw truth. But that can also be really beneficial because then it's just like we know what we're dealing with. And even though there may be some aspects of feeling like our bubble has burst, there's also like a renewed determination to make something work in your world. Now, Mercury is also shifting into your sign the same day, and here I see you being in a really strong position from a negotiating perspective. What I will say though is that there may be some information or something that doesn't come to light initially, that could change the game a little bit or make you sort of stop and think. So just hold that space. If you're entering into anything or any important, you know, discussions or conversations are taking place, there may be some missing information, and I don't want you to be on the back foot. So just almost like going in with the knowledge that I might not know everything about this or what I need to know, so it doesn't come as a surprise to you. Nonetheless, I feel like you bring a tremendous amount of charm and grace to situations, and you're really well understood through this month, and I think that can really support you in your endeavors. We've got Messenger of Water, so Page of Cups coming in. There's an earnest quality that you can bring to any interactions that help people to really realize that you're leveling with them, and that this is important to you. It means something to you. You value it, and therefore, you know, perhaps they understand you value them or value their time in the same way. I think it's important as we open up with all of this sort of water energy around you, to not allow your emotions to overwhelm you too much. You know, sometimes it can lead us into places where we feel like we're, you know, doing something that's coming from the heart. It ends up feeling maybe that it was a mistake, but how you speak to yourself, or indeed how you speak to others if you're thinking that they've made a mistake, is going to be really important to reflect on and to see your growth, okay? The new moon in Cancer, more water, arrives on the 5th of the month, and I do see quite a important meeting or coming together with someone in and around that time. And again, it's like a conversation that needs to happen. Just remember that, you know, your priorities, like the things that help you to maintain a sense of balance, mind, body, and soul, you know, this should be the standard. It's not the reward, okay? So enter into every type of interaction with anybody from this point forth, you know, really embodying and understanding the things that are totally non-negotiable for you so that they become the standard. And I think that you get that, or the idea of that lands quite powerfully for you early on in the month. You're also going to see the difference of how people mirror things back to you. What I will say is, you know, they're not necessarily reading your mind, Leo, so you do have to ask for what you want. You know, don't be too passive through this month of July. I mean, to be honest, with Venus also coming into your sign on the 11th, I think it's unlikely, nonetheless, you know, to move forward with certainty and to get the sort of progress that you're looking for. I think it does matter that you show up and that you follow through and that you continue to communicate and be honest about what you're happy with and equally what you're unhappy with. Like, I feel like that Queen of Earth, for whatever reason, is a little disgruntled, and it might be that you kind of enter into a situation where you thought it was going to be one way and it ends up like someone changed the rules or changed things. Again, back to this more information coming to light that you weren't aware of. And I think it's important to just sort of air those grievances like early on. In Cancerian energy, you know, we can really tap into some of that passive aggressive, and it doesn't serve you through the month of July to just not clear the air as quickly as you can, because there's a lot at stake and there's not a lot of time, and it feels like there's an importance to get things done and to arrive at a certain point, a milestone, a destination, like something that has a sort of time dependency connected to it, okay? That said, I will say to you, don't rush, or you're going to arrive too tired to enjoy something. So you also want to sort of stop and smell the roses. I think the Queen of Earth can help with the lessons of that. You know, she definitely brings an adaptability to situations and a resourcefulness. And I think that can be super helpful as well if you find yourself in uncharted territory. You know, if all of a sudden it feels like the game changed and you're trying to play catch up with something. Remember, I see you repositioning, and the King of Fire is coming through here and say, like, let's follow our passion, follow our bliss, and bring to the table all of the things that make you you. Like, see, when you try to bend too much, or you try to pretend that you're something you're not, to fit in with an expectation or to make something work, it's gonna feel like really jarring for you in this month of July. Now, Pallas Athena, the asteroid goddess, stations direct in Scorpio on the 9th. Like, when she shifted retrograde a few weeks back, we were able to have some of the more challenging, difficult conversations about areas that felt a little bit taboo. Remember, now moving direct, it's about the new strategy we're going to deploy as a result of the information that's now come to light. The wisdom and the plan is also very transformative and leads to quite a rebirth situation. So there's a focus and an intention and a sort of loyalty to the cause that you seem to bring forth. Now, the King of Fire is incredibly beneficial for you because I think he has a vision that you're able to kind of tap into, you know. So whether this is somebody that shows up for you, or indeed you archetypally sort of channeling this energy, it's like you're able to sort of find the vision of where you're trying to get to. And even though you may feel like there are some hurdles that continue to show up through this month, you do seem to bring a bit of flair and a bit of resourcefulness to navigate those quite beautifully. I think you'll surprise yourself in a really wonderful way. I think as part of that, you need to also notice how much time you might be spending trying to work out how to respond to people that are disrespecting you. You know, those times when you go into like the stories in your head, well, they've said this, so I'm going to do this, and they'll probably respond like that, and you make it into like this epic movie that you're playing out. And you know, it can be something that's running in your head like the entire day, the entire night, and you're not even fully consciously aware of just like how much energy it's taking. There's something about you know, the invitation, I think, coming through for you in July to say, if we were directing our energy towards those people that just by default valued and respected you, and you didn't have to kind of feel like you were constantly defending or justifying yourself, like, what would that be like? I feel like I want to kind of have you quantum jumping and sort of projecting your energy to that place, to that experience with those kind of a people, to actually feel into what that as an experience would be like, so that you can almost create a bridge to that, you know, start to create a pathway towards it. Now, Venus in Leo in your sign on the 11th, Mars moves into Gemini on the 20th. You know, this is an incredibly flirtatious combination coming through. Ace of Earth. It may be that something that sort of began as a friendship can take on a different tone for some of you, but it also can bring forth like the seed of an idea and just really flirting with the idea of the possibility of something, bringing like passion and a spark to something. And you know, that Ace of Earth, I feel like what you plan and what you decide to nourish and water is the thing that you're absolutely set to see some quite early on, like manifestations and the reward of that like coming through quite quickly. So there's almost like a validation that yeah, this was the right thing to be focused upon, or to direct my energy towards. Okay, now we've got this second full moon in Capricorn arriving on the 21st, right? So what kicked off in June? Yeah, just right after solstice, 21st of June, because you're sort of held like suspended animation between these two full moons. You've got that in your read, so there's an important message. So it was almost like something came to light. There was like a striving to achieve or attain something. Remember, Capricorn energy is like really focused on that, like how we make our way in the world, and you know, the attainment of that goal. And it was like, you know, there was a mountain to scale here, and it might have felt like you were sort of pinned in place and having to be deeply reflective to figure out how to do this, how to make this work. As something additional is revealed, it's almost like then there's like full disclosure is the phrase that comes through, right? Full disclosure on something. And you've come full circle. So it's a really important time to kind of stop for a minute and witness your world and how you've changed, and how much more prepared you are. And I do sense that, like, I think by the time you get to the 21st, like, you do feel much more capable and readily sort of armed, if you like, to take something on or to deal with something or to do what needs to be done, right? Now, this is right ahead, of course, of the sun coming into your sign on the 22nd. Burst of light to sort of help you really decide, how do I want to show up? What does this next circle around the sun mean for me? Like, what matters most in my heart and my mind? Because you're going to direct that ace, you're going to take that energy, that seed that you've planted, and it's going to become something deeply nourishing and sustainable in your world. So what have you always wanted to do? You're going to find the courage to do it, or to certainly put the preparations in place, or even to begin, through this month. And I think take advantage of that, especially before Mercury shifts out of your sign on the 25th into Virgo, because there's something just about how you're communicating to yourself and to others what your plans are. Now, the Tower to me feels like it's almost like I have to destroy something in order to create something. So you know that the way in which you're going to direct that seed, or what you're about to embark or take on, is going to result, or it's going to have some repercussions, right? So maybe not everyone's going to be happy about this. Maybe you're going to be meeting some resistance. Maybe something's going to have to kind of blow up before it kind of calms down again. And remember, the Tower is always wholly necessary, because something connected to the foundations or the energy with which this has come together in your life is no longer resonant and no longer going to serve you, and not going to allow for your highest timeline and your highest level of growth to be achieved or attained. So this is a welcome, accepting, albeit slightly tumultuous experience that might unfold, and remember, we're coming into Chiron stationing retrograde on the 26th, so there's a likelihood of sort of bumping back up against the triggers and the wounded energy we've been working on, feeling like we've done what we needed to do, moved on, and then sort of being pulled back into something. And with Neptune kind of bursting the bubble and stripping something away, there's definitely that sobering moment that I think can land. Nonetheless, I feel like it's necessary, and there's a part of you that's almost glad for it, almost welcoming of it, because you're just like, okay, now it's out, now it's happened, now it's done. Because it was almost like when you have the premonition of it coming, it was like your body was feeling it coming in a way. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't think this is like earth-shattering. I just think this is like an abrupt sort of tumultuous shift in energy that's necessary in order to clear the path for this to start to grow and not be kind of overtaken, or, you know, not have the nourishment, the water that it needs to be able to blossom into something. Okay, so we welcome that tower, we need that tower. And again, if it's about preparation, because the moon is saying, like, look, there's things here that you've not yet been made aware of, or haven't yet come to light. And so, you know, start to energetically prepare yourself for that, and then when it comes, it's not going to feel like such a shock to the nervous system. Okay, I have a sense that, you know, as you consider what something is going to take, and that you don't want to put something off anymore, there might be like a difficult choice or decision that you have to make, and it could just be that the timing feels like not aligned, but you're forced to have to do it anyway. So there's something about being kind of having to sort of jump the gun with something, because it's like, okay, if I don't do this now, then there's all these implications. But in an ideal world, it might not have been how you wanted it to be. Nonetheless, I think, again, it's because you've got the inspiration, or something's come through here. It's that combination of just like passion and the potential that's just like, okay, I can't ignore this. Like, it's too important. Something in your world in July becomes too important. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we look at in my extended reading talk for another 30 minutes or so. You'll get a personal question answered, as well as a relationship card, and go much deeper into the month ahead. So you can find the link in the comment and description box. I hope you'll join me. It enables me to keep showing up for the free readings, so it's really important to have your support there. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify these main cards and see the direction that we will be taking this. So just beginning with the energy of the moon, we've got strength coming through, and the 8 of Cups, interesting. Messenger of water, we've got 4 of Swords, justice, okay. Queen of Earth, King of Swords, 5 of Swords. Yeah, that was that kind of disgruntled energy I was picking up from her. Okay, what about this King of Fire? The Emperor, yes. Ace of Wands, yes. Knight of Cups, there's the Vision. The Hermit. Okay, Tower, 4 of Cups. 10 of Cups. Let's put one more there. 4 of Pentacles. Okay, all the decks I use are always listed below, Leo. You can check out on my website, if you're new to the channel, my sacred titles, so my own oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, and my book, Moon Musings, ways to work with me, all my sacred soul support, everything that I create to help you on your spiritual journey. You can also find me on my social media, Instagram and Facebook pages, and please sign up for my newsletter. You'll get offers and insights as to what is coming up down the line for me this year. Okay, so we are going to have a look at Life Soul Vision. We've got the Gathering, Earth Star Energy, beautiful, Enlightened in the Exhale. We've got Crown Energy, Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose. Got Rise in Love, the Wishing Tree, Guide and the Gift, Alchemize the Ache. Okay, just going to do one final oracle for Leo for the month of July. Let's take a look. Energy of commitment. Okay, we're going to explore that in the extended. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful month ahead. If you've got a birthday, happy solar returns for July. I will see you again soon. Take care.